Good afternoon, everybody. I am I'm always on the road. Y'all know how I do this. I'm always on the road. And it's like I tried to tell LaDavia, I think that's her name, is that this is the best time because I'm uninterrupted and I can drive. And I do a lot of talking with God. Yeah, and another thing, but I do a lot of talking with God as I'm driving. Sometimes I don't even turn on the music and I just talk, I pray, and just contemplate life, things, next steps, what do I need to be doing, so forth, and blah blah blah. But anyway, and another thing that I want to talk about was have you guys seen that show Duck Dynasty? I mean, I haven't watched it, but I had something piqued my interest the other day because I had heard that the guys, that the family on Duck Dynasty, and especially the father, he's a devout Christian. So I go to YouTube and I started doing my little research and trying to find out, if he's truly a devout Christian or he a Costa Nostra. Y'all know what the Costa Nostras are. Those are people who claim they're Christians, but just live any kind of life, and they let fame and fortune then cloud their judgment in terms of righteousness, holiness, and so forth, and things like that. So anyway, so I go on YouTube and come to find out, old dude, the father on Duck Dynasty, man is sold out. Him and his wife, they are sold out to Jesus Christ. And man, I mean, I was really impressed. And him and his wife, they've been through a lot before they became millionaires. And they were very poor. He walked out on her at one point and all that kind of stuff. They gave their testimony. I mean, awesome testimony. It was absolutely amazing. But God has done a wonderful thing. And they even show on the show how they're always in prayer and how he always talks about God. And there are also videos on YouTube of him preaching in some places. And dude is on point, in his own special way as I'll say very down home kind of guy. That's a nice way of saying it. I could say trailer park country or whatever, but no, they are way out of the trailer park. They're no longer there in terms of their living and the financial quality of life that they have now. But anyway, but yeah, so I mean, it was just refreshing and awesome to see that they still hold on and maintain their basic life values. In terms of living. Yes, they live large, but you can tell they're very basic, very humble people. Now I gotta flip the script. Okay, so then I started to thinking, everybody's been watching the commercials for the new show, The Preachers of LA, about to come on, and what that entails and who's in the show. Clarence McClendon and what's the other guy's name? Not Ty Tribbett, Dietrich Haddon. They're all on the show and so forth. And Noel Jones. Oh, I used to love Noel Jones. But anyway, and a couple of others. And you've seen the commercials and you heard the controversy about the show, and everybody's already talking about Preachers of LA. But as I watch the commercials, as I listen to them talk about the show, and you know what, I get that they are just average men just like everybody else, and they have family issues like everyone else. And trust me, I know as a man of God myself, I have family issues as well, dealing with children and financials and things like that. I mean, just things that encompass just daily life. But anyway, wait a minute now. I'm going to have to cut that part out. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to have to pull over because something fell off. I don't know what that was, but it better not be a bug or a spider or something. I got to pull this car over real quick and find out what's going on. Right here. Okay, we're going to pull. All right, y'all. I had to pull over for a second. I had to break that. I opened my sunroof and something fell out the sunroof, and I thought it was a bug because there's been spiders and stuff that have gotten in here overnight when I leave the windows down during the summertime. And so, yeah, that has happened before where I opened up the thing and stuff come falling down, and it was a big bug one time. So I about had a wreck right here, trying not to get bitten up by a bug or a spider. But anyway, I'm going to continue on about the preachers, not Real Housewives, but preachers of Atlanta. And I'm going to strap back in right here. So anyway, so I'm just thinking about the stark contrast between the two. When you look at Duck Dynasty and you hear and just see how they live and the way they talk and everything, but then when you watch or when you listen to the preachers of LA, there's almost, I mean, to me there's a stark difference between the two. It's like the preachers of LA are trying to live lavish and it appears they're being braggadocious about it, and I could be completely wrong, but just based on what I've seen and the things that I've heard in terms of coming out their mouth and the interviews that they've had, they seem very braggadocious about the money that they have, and that it is their God-given right to have these things. And you know what? I'm not questioning that. I guess it's the level of the difference between the stark humility between the men on Duck Dynasty who also profess to be Christians, and then the men on the preachers of LA. And you see how even the way they dress, I mean, is absolutely, it's just really mind-blowing. So, and I'm thinking, like, with a lot of rappers, you know, when rappers first get when they first get their contracts, and then with the contracts, they normally, I mean, you heard, I think, not Jay-Z, but Kanye was talking about, you know, he went straight out and bought him something. He bought him some bling, you know, and it's that whole mentality that once you make it big, you know, the first thing that you do is you go out and spend thousands and thousands of dollars on needless items. And that's one of the things that I'm picking up from preachers of LA. It seems like, okay, now that you have this fame and you got a little fortune, it appears like, you know, you having to live lavish to prove something or to show something and to prove that God is with you. And I could be wrong in my assessment, but from what I'm picking up, it just seems like it's being lavish for the sake of being lavish, because you've never had the things, and now that you have the ability to get them, you're taking advantage of that and feeling that this is your deserved lot in life, and that you're supposed to have this, and that God is supposed to have this overflow of blessing on your life in this particular manner in terms of things. And of course, I believe in blessings. I believe in all that kind of stuff, and I believe in God blessing people for the sake of building the kingdom, and that's why He gives us wealth. But it seems to me that preachers of LA are just being flashy about it, whereas Duck Dynasty, they just seem like they made a lot of money from the products that they have, and they just happen to be sold out believers. And there's a difference in that. There is a difference in that. So, but you go and check it out yourself. Look up Duck Dynasty on YouTube, and then look up Preachers of LA. Noel Jones, Deidre Haddon, and Clarence McClendon, and the others. I mean, there's a difference. There's a difference, and I get the mentality, and I feel the mentality of like the rappers. When the rappers get that money, they go and spend, and they got to show everybody that they are balling and blinging. But anyway, I'm not judging. I'm not saying anything. I'm going to let y'all roll with that one. All right, this is James from the I'm Free Project. I'm out. Y'all know how we roll. Next week, I got another one. It's another good one. But yeah, that stuff is a trip. Ain't nobody got a bling like that. You know it don't make no sense. You don't have to have all that stuff just to ride around, you know, and all this kind of cars and this and that and so forth. But anyway, I'm out. I guess the people can say the same thing about me too. Huh? Holla.